I let them sit while I retreat to a quiet corner to recover. It's not what you think. Don't think about it. It's not what you think. I've probably just caught Becca's cold. Don't think about it. I'm left alone for a good while, the same words spilling out of my lips in a silent prayer, until a hand taps my shoulder. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Letter. I'm your host, the Birdman, known as Falcon, so I wanted to do one more video on this because honestly, I really enjoyed the first one a lot, and some of you did as well. Now, the problem is, visual novels is not something that's really big on my channel. You know, I focus mostly on, like, you know, indie survival games and stuff like that. You know, every channel has their focus. Some things work on certain channels, some things do not. I tried experimenting with visual novels with the England Exchange, and even though I felt it started really strong, towards the midpoint and towards the end, I think people lost interest in that. So I'm not sure if it was the game or it was just the fact that, you know, the channel just isn't made for visual novels. But that being said, I really enjoyed this one a lot, and I feel it has more to add than most visual novels. So I'm going to give this one more try, I should say, one more video. And you guys let me know if you want to see some more, and we shall cover more of this. Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up here. But at the very least, it'll kind of give me like a peace of mind where I'm thinking, first and foremost, bird outside, shut up, I'm recording. And number two, it'll give me the peace of mind where I'm thinking, okay, well, I gave it a shot, and, you know, it worked, or it did not work. But at least it'll kind of give me that peace of mind. Anyway, let's get into our visual novel mode here. But that's nothing compared to the feeling of hope the sight of the exit gives us. Racing down the stairs, a breathy laugh escapes me, and my shoe slips, and I find myself falling, until my back hits the ground and pain racks my body. We're not out of the woods yet. My head grows fuzzy and my vision dims as I fight to stay conscious.
No. Go away.
The last thing I see are those feet before all I know is darkness. Can we, like, take one moment to talk about the production value? This is amazing. Like, I'm telling you, like, when I first, like, you know, took this out for a spin, I was really impressed by the voice acting. The music is great too, man. I believe that voice sounds so familiar, I can't put a name on it, but I'm pretty sure somebody will pick it up. But I think that voice sounds really familiar, I just cannot put a name to it right now. But that's really cool. Even, like, the anime cutscenes are pretty awesome too. Anyway, let's see here. A buzz breaks the silence. I start to rouse, pulled into consciousness against my own will. I have never felt this tired before. I just want to sleep, but the insistent buzzing, poking, and prodding isn't letting me. My old mattress may not be the comfiest of places, but that doesn't make me any more eager to wake up.
5 more minutes, Becca.
I swat away what is nudging persistently at my side. Can't I just get a few extra minutes of sleep today? I promise I'll work hard once I'm up. A hand lightly taps my cheek, and something cold is suddenly being pressed to the back of my head. The icy sensation slowly spreads throughout the area, giving me an uncomfortable feeling.
Isabella? Isabella? Gosh, can you hear me? Isabella?
Just 5 more minutes, Mom. I don't want to go to school today. Sorry. The fog of unconsciousness immediately lifts from my mind the moment I recognize the voice, and my eyes snap open. They're looking down at me. It's Rose. Oh, they're looking down at me as Rose, I should say. Another woman loiters beside her, but my attention is too focused on my co-agent to even ask why there's someone else with her. Rose's posture just screams worry, although she is keeping a straight face, or trying at least. I can't help but feel bad for making her fret. A wave of dizziness washes over me as soon as I try to get up, forcing me to lie back down again. Luckily, it subsides after a few seconds, until only a mild throbbing somewhere in the back of my head remains. With little assistance from Rose, I push myself upright. She hands me an ice pack and gestures for me to press it to where I suspect a small bump has already formed, if the light ache in the area is any indication.
Alright, Isabella, where are we?
The Ermengarde Mansion. Why? Ow, my head.
And the date today?
October 21st? Rose.
Last one. Can you count to 15 in reverse order?
15, 14, 13, 12-teen? No, that's wrong.
12-teen, huh? Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
I think it's probably like a concussion test.
She's just checking to see if your injury is in any way serious.
This time, I curiously regard the woman standing beside Rose. It's impossible to overlook her, what with the way she towers over us. And here I thought Rose is already tall. Who is she anyway? One of the remaining cleaning crews? Oh yeah, she's exactly dressed like a cleaning crew person would be, huh? Really high-class cleaners right here. But with how primely dressed she is, exactly. You know, these things don't, believe me, I have an amazing attention to detail sometimes. I don't think anyone will want to clean in a suit, an expensive suit at that. The gloves alone must have already cost a fortune. Her eyes slowly shift between me and Rose, considering us with almost an unreadable expression, before finally fixing a sharp gaze on me. I can't help but fold my arms protectively over myself as she does so. She may be far from a cleaning crew, but she certainly looks like my supervisor during evaluation days.
Just do it, please.
I eye them both warily, but recite everything as she has asked. Rose releases a breath of relief once I'm done.
You scared me for a moment there. I was about to call for an ambulance when you started stirring. Are you alright?
Exasperation soon replaces a dull ache. The memory is a little fuzzy, but the attic? And
There was someone, Rose. In the attic.
Someone? You mean a client? Oh, that's unlikely. It's probably just one of the cleaning crews.
I mean, she could have used the cleaning herself if you looked at her, but no, I don't think she was part of the cleaning crew.
The boss sent a few of them back this morning for some last minute...
No, not any of those. I'm not actually sure. Wait, didn't I call you? You said you were in the attic when you answered. That's why I went there in the first place.
Both Rose and the lady look at me like I've just grown another head. Did I say something weird? Rose casts an apologetic smile at the woman beside her before the awkward silence stretches on further. It's her saleswoman's smile, the same one she taught me back when I was still her trainee. I should show this to troublesome clients or just to avoid trouble in general, she advised. It's also the one she gives me when I'm done something particularly absurd that may cause us to lose a potential sale. Her eyes are serious when she turns back to me. She takes both of my shoulders, gently squeezes it, and with as much patience she can muster.
As much as I'd love to have gotten at least a heads up of your arrival, I didn't really get a call from you. You know, signal here is absolutely horrendous. I was in the garden earlier and couldn't even make a single call. Isabella, I'm going to ask again. Are you really alright? What happened?
Well, something straight out of the ring chased me down and I almost died, falling down the stairs, and I might have a mild concussion as well. Yeah, it's typical morning, I suppose.
I don't know. It's all a bit blurry.
It's probably best she doesn't say that, though. I think people would then kind of really worry then.
I remember I was looking for you, but you weren't in the attic. And there's... whoever it is. Then I must have tripped on a rug or something on the way down. Oh no. Do you think someone came in while you were out? You left the main door open. We are so going to get into big trouble if something gets stolen, Rose.
Perhaps it is a concussion.
Are you sure you feel fine? We could still call for an ambulance. I could cover for you.
No, I'm fine. I'm okay, Rose. I can work.
Wait. Hold your horses, Rose. I can't just miss an important sale because of a minor bump in the head. An extremely minor bump? I've had worse when I was a kid. This is nothing.
Besides, if I leave, you'll have to shoulder everything in the open house, alone. And in a mansion this big?
Well, there's also the part where I may lose that bonus BRC promise, but that's completely besides the point. Rose gives me a skeptical look when I return the cold compress to her and push myself off the floor. I have to use the staircase's railings to steady myself, but otherwise, I feel fine.
See? I'm A-okay.
I'm just wandering around the house like a drunk, you know? Holding onto the wall, you know, oh, what do you mean I'm drunk? I'm not drunk, you're drunk, okay? I'm perfectly fine. The two of them exchange a worried glance, and Rose assumes a contemplative look. I bite my lower lip in anticipation. If she says no...
Right you in.
A smile threatens to slip out from me.
If I see that you aren't feeling well, I'm taking you personally to the nearest clinic to have you checked. Clear?
Clear as day, ma'am. Thanks, Rose.
You insisted. But remember what I said. First sign of you looking not okay, and we're off. No questions asked.
It's just a small bump. Don't worry.
You shouldn't downplay these kinds of things. It could be a serious injury for all we know.
Suddenly, a small cough sounds against the walls of the foyer, interrupting our banter. The woman is looking expectantly at the two of us, her stare making me shrink back a little on myself. She isn't really intimidating. Well, she is. But not in a scary, negative way. Far from it, actually. Her demeanor simply commands an air of sophistication and respect. In a different world, a younger me would have probably wished to be like her. She coughs again, lifting a well-trimmed eyebrow at me in question. Words get caught in my tongue, and Rose, as usual, is swift to catch my own blunders.
My sincerest apologies, Miss
McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch.
McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch. Oh, we got a card too. Interior designer. Okay, so I don't think she's probably here to buy. But maybe some renovations perhaps? I don't know. The words interior designer catch my eyes before my partner flips it over. Oh, probably someone interested in the mansion for its 17th century influences then. I won't hold it against her though. Despite the hearsays and remaining uninhabited for years, the mansion's original fittings and furniture have been kept completely intact and restored to pristine condition. I suppose some people find that trip to the past feeling appealing. After all, with what it offers, this place is a definite haven for people looking to live somewhere with a classic historical charm.
Miss McCullough, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos. We're just ironing out a few things, but we'll be starting the tour soon enough. In the meantime, we've prepared some refreshments for you in the parlor while you're waiting. If you could please.
Thanks. There's no need for it though. I just dropped by for a quick survey of the place. I thought I should check the estate before I meet with the homeowners.
The confused look on Rose's face is impossible to miss when she glances at me. I return it with an equally perplexed look. And, against my better judgment, I blurt out the first question that comes to mind.
I'm sorry. Homeowners?
I should have kept my mouth shut. A flash of irritation crosses her face, but it instantly disappears under a mask of professional detachment.
Yes. Hannah, right? I was hired by her to handle the interior design for their newly bought home.
This is the Ermengarde Mansion, right?
It is, but...
She pauses, possibly trying to find the right words to fix the awkward situation without offending someone. Rose nudges me with her elbow. So here we have one of the choices that I mentioned here. So, we'll check with our supervisor? I don't know. So, she's talking about homeowners when, you know, nobody owns the place. We're trying to sell the place. So, let's Might bother her that we have to double check, but I'm gonna check with my supervisors first on this one. Relationship status updated. Let's see if we could, here we go, Marianne. So, is this possibly where we were at to begin with? And after that choice, it went up? Yeah, I think that's probably it. So the white is where we're at originally, and after a choice, it is going to be boosted. Alrighty. Those few moments have given me enough time to clear my head of any nervousness or confusion clouding it.
It is, ma'am, but we weren't aware the mansion has already been sold.
Which honestly means bonus time for Isabella.
What do you mean?
I almost flinch when she turns her gaze on me, but I stand my ground. Besides, it isn't like I haven't dealt with awkward situations like this before. I may screw up at times, but that doesn't mean I haven't learned a thing or two in the 5 years I've worked in the business.
The mansion is indeed for sale, ma'am. Today's the open house, in fact. However, we haven't heard anything from the higher-ups that a deal has already been closed for this particular property. If you'd like, my co-agent and me can check with them right now.
She nods, seemingly in deep thought after I've finished. She appears to be a reasonable person anyway. Given the proper explanation, she'll likely understand.
I thought something looked odd when I arrived here. Excuse me, I think I need to make a call to my secretary. Thank you for your assistance, Miss Santos.
With a slight wave of her hand, she leaves us, presumably to double-check with someone on her side. That seems to be the end of it. Both Rose and I breathe a sigh of relief. Disaster averted. I also don't miss the thumbs up she gives me for doing a good job, and I can't help but swell with pride. Still, I've already prepared myself to dial the number to the Luxembourg office and check, even if she didn't ask for it. I will be very frustrated if, for some reason, an agreement had already been decided without my or Rose's knowledge. Why? After what you saw, I'd be happy. I'd be like, oh, cool, deal, excellent. Let's leave, let's never come back, and good luck to you and your haunted house. That's just me, though. That's a whole new level of unfair. We've been working hard on this. Oh, I guess we probably won't get any bonuses if the office made the deal and not us. Ah, I getcha. Never mind it, I'll stick it out with the Ring house here. Moments later, Miss McCullough returns, looking a little frustrated, but an apology clear in her face. I feel a little sorry for her having to go through all this trouble.
There seems to have been a little misunderstanding with my client. If you'll allow it, I'd like to stay and wait for them here. I was informed they'll be dropping by for the open house today. I figured it'd be a waste to just leave after that long drive. I might as well meet him here.
Certainly. You could stay at the parlor in the meantime, ma'am. I'm sure it won't be long before our guests arrive. And, Isabella, I left a few documents in my car. You know where I keep those. Can you please get it for me?
Rose takes a glance at her wristwatch before tossing me a set of keys.
And hurry! We've still got a few minutes to double-check those papers.
Okay, got it. Give me a few minutes.
Well, that was no good. That was no good at all. A flock of people have already gathered in the mansion's front yard by the time we officially open the doors. I'm not sure whether I should feel baffled or underdressed standing in their presence. Men and women of wealth and status, all dressed to the nines in fancy suits and lovely dresses of varying colors, compose a medium-sized crowd. Their neck, arms, and fingers are adorned with silver and gold glinting in the afternoon sun. Some even have ridiculously fancy feathered hats on their heads. I really hope there aren't any magpies living nearby, like in the stories. Those birds will have a field day in this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos. We'll be taking a tour of the mansion in 2 groups. Please make sure you filled up our sign-in forms before joining a specific group.
Those who want to look around the first floor, please follow my partner. I'll be guiding the ones who wish to see the ground floor.
Miss McCullough also joins our group, but what really catches my eyes is the elegantly dressed pair she approaches.
It's so nice to finally meet you! When Chief Inspector Lee mentioned that a famous interior designer is in town, I knew I had to get you.
Your confidence in my skills is very flattering, ma'am.
I'm sure you won't disappoint, Marianne.
Oh, you know each other?
Not at all, ma'am.
You mentioned something about a Marianne on our way here, darling?
Oh, yes, I think I did.
I don't know about that. A little bit sketchy if you ask me. When they aren't whispering among themselves or going ooh and ah over one thing or another, they ask questions. From how the restoration process went to the history of the place, I answered them all, more than happy to talk about the art pieces and architecture mostly. However, I am careful not to mention anything about the urban legend. Not a good material for sales talk, even if the entire population of Luxburn knows about it.
Some of the furnishings here are actually the 17th century originals, all of which have undergone a painstaking restoration process just to return its original beauty.
Even the glass thing. Colorful ones. Oh, I don't know, but you get the idea, I hope.
Yeah, stained glass is what they're called, lovely lady.
Especially that one, ma'am. It is said to be a gift commissioned by the fiancé of Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. The mansion's current owners have specifically requested that the restoration crew take great care in handling it. It's a priceless work of art and the most distinctive feature of the mansion.
Isn't this place wonderful, darling? I told you it's not a total waste of your time.
I don't know. Isn't it a bit too small? We might have to break a wall down to have more room.
Well, I think it is just right. Don't you think so, Marianne?
It is splendid, ma'am. But isn't it a little too early to make plans when no deal has been signed yet?
Never mind that. It isn't going to be a problem. We've got a wonderful legal team to handle everything. Start taking notes, though. I think I've got a few things I want changed before we move in.
Much like the rest of the house, a great deal of effort has been put into retaining the room's classic appeal. The open heart at the end of the room, in particular, looks amazing like the ones I only see in fairy tale books before. And mad props to the cleaning crew. Seriously, after overhearing hundreds of their complaints about the soot and tar staining the bricks and how much of a pain in the arse cleaning this will be, they still managed to pull this off. Or make it look presentable at least.
The highlight of the room, however, is what's underneath this hatch here.
Oh, don't say anything yet! An underground wine cellar.
This fucking guy. Oh, an underground wine cellar, oh boy! This is the first time the guy in gray speaks up. Mr. Luke Wright, my memory supplies from the forms they signed earlier. His sudden attentiveness catches me off guard. Since the start of the tour, only his wife has shown any form of genuine interest in the place. But this time, something lights up in his eyes at the mention of the undercroft. What's so interesting about a basement? I really don't understand rich people sometimes. Yeah, you and me both, Isabella. Right now, he just gives me the impression of a child who has just seen what he absolutely wants for Christmas. I've always found it cute, however. Whenever I see children act that way, my younger siblings especially. And a grown man? It's almost funny.
Yes, sir. It could house around 7,000 to 11,000 bottles of wine.
Oh my goodness, God.
Truly. And the room, how was it built?
By hand?
The bricks that were used to build the cellar had been carefully picked for the purpose of maintaining and preserving a constant temperature and humidity in the room. It's a good place to keep your private collection in if you have one, sir.
It keeps the corks in good condition.
Oh, love. Didn't you say before that you wanted to make your own personal vineyard? Perhaps you could start one here.
You know we're going to need space for that, darling.
And this isn't big enough?
If it's space you're worried about, sir, the Ermengarde Mansion sits on a 46-acre lot. There's plenty of room for it. We were told that the original owners had a horse stable built here before, too.
There's a contemplative look expression on Mr. Wright's face, but he doesn't say anything further. His wife, however, seems really pleased that he has started showing interest, if only a little. I smile to myself. I may not completely understand how these people's minds work, but I sure as hell know how to spot a buyer with sincere interest. Score. I can't wait to tell Rose. The rest of the tour goes by without a hitch. After more than half an hour, we're able to cover almost every room in the ground floor and are heading to the parlor. Funny, the first time we surveyed the property, I kept complaining to Rose how big it is. Now, I can't even bring myself to care, no matter how much my feet hurt. Maybe this is just my excitement over a prospective sale? Could indeed be. When we reach the parlor, however, an odd feeling washes over me. It starts off as a small goosebumps on my skin, a feeling of being watched intently. Whispers in my ear and shadows dancing, lurking in the corner of my vision. dark silhouettes that are gone when I turn to look to see what it is. A chill that settles down my spine, making me feel sick, and I start to break into a cold sweat. I can't do this. I need to sit down for a moment. The old ladies in the group have been requesting for a break anyway. If I can just...
Excuse me, everyone? We will be taking a 15-minute rest here before we visit the first floor. In the meantime, please help yourselves to the refreshments and snacks we've prepared. If anyone has any questions, feel free to approach me. I'd be happy to help you.
I let them sit while I retreat to a quiet corner to recover. It's not what you think. Don't think about it. It's not what you think. I've probably just caught Becca's cold. Don't think about it. I'm left alone for a good while, the same words spilling out of my lips in a silent prayer, until a hand taps my shoulder.
Hello, you there?
Alrighty, well, something is definitely afoot here. Unfortunately, we're out of time now with this one, guys, so I hope you enjoyed. And as I mentioned with the start of the video, if you would like to see more, you let me know in the comments, you let me know by leaving a thumbs up in the video, and we shall try to give this an entire run. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up here, but at the very least, for those interested, at least you know what the game's about, you might want to pick it up for yourselves. And if there's just not enough interest, we'll stop it here. But I wanted to give it at least one shot to make sure whether it's something we should focus on or just, you know, skip and leave it to the people who would like to play it for themselves. So, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you next time.